we have got now a very firm program that we are going to execute together. Most of it will be covered tomorrow when we have the strategic dialogue, which my colleague Governor Mutua and my colleague Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, with the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury, are going to be coordinating, looking at the broader issues of security, of sustainability, and indeed development partnership. But today is the day of business. So the business of today is business. The business of Kenya is business. And in this regard, I want to reiterate and assure you that Kenya is indeed open for business. Through the Global Gateway program of the European Union, which we have agreed for our respective teams and the European Union to actually organize a deep dive in the next few weeks to look at how can we be able to create effective partnership between Kenyan business and European business. So what I am expecting is that at the end of the business forum today, we are opening a deal book, and Ambassador here is going to work with the Principal Secretary to open this deal book. Please, as I've told the delegation from France, ensure that all your partnerships, all your investments get its way into the deal book. And my commitment is that for all opportunities that are going to get into the deal book, I and my ministry will be able to follow up on a granular individual basis. So we do not see you as 250 or 500 businesses. We see you as individual businesses, and we are going to actually be your agent to follow up on all these opportunities on an individual basis. Finally, is on the issue of the economic partnership agreement. EU Director Dora, who is around here, when she came to see me last December, I promised her one thing. The next time she comes to Kenya, I will confiscate her passport. And I've actually done that. And what I've told Dora is that I am only giving you your passport when we conclude all the topics under our economic partnership agreement. Our chief negotiator, PS Alfred Kombudo, is here, and I also want to confirm that I have also confiscated his passport. He cannot go anywhere. Because when Dora saw me in December, I told her that by 31st of March, we must conclude our economic partnership agreement. And I'm very proud, and I think the President is going to advise us whether he can be available to witness before that deadline with the European President to initiate that agreement, hopefully before the end of the quarter, and we really look forward to that. As the Minister has said, when you're in Kenya, you are not just in Kenya. When you're in Kenya, we are looking at a gateway for Africa. That is why, as a country, we have pioneered the efforts to bring together the countries of South Africa Development Cooperation, SADC, the East African Community, and COMESA, as a vital stepping stone towards the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. Because we believe, as a country, that the journey towards ACFTA, it is going very well, but I think having a modular step-by-step approach is going to fast-track these topics. That is why we are really taking this issue of the tripartite agreement between these three blocks, 28 countries, 750 million people, $1.8 trillion of population, because once we have 28 countries, and our brothers and sisters from the West and the North, we are also encouraging them from ECOWAS to Sahel to Maghreb to all these other blocks to actually take similar measures so that we can be able to fast-track our efforts towards African integration. So when we talk to Kenya, you are talking to 28 African countries where Kenya is championing that. So there were actually 27, but Kenya persuaded one more country to join so that we can be more than the countries of the European Union. So now it is 28 versus 27. Because we wanted to some area other than the athletics where we are ahead of Europe, and also to revenge for Morocco. Thank you, Oliver. So in the next 2 months, we hope to have more countries within TFTA than the countries of Europe. In this regard also, I want to ask the European Union to continue talking to our partners and our neighbors. Because while Kenya has taken a very aggressive and robust approach towards trade negotiations, we now have PS Kombodo here is negotiating 3 major agreements at the same time with the European Union, with the US, and with the UAE, all of them at the same time, which is strenuous and draining for him and his lean team. It's because we have got everything to gain and everything to lose also if we don't take this route. You are aware, and I've said this clearly to Ambassador and the team, that some of our neighbors and some of our partners, because of the least developed country status, they continue to enjoy, free market access to your markets. And Kenya has said that really we have to have this conversation. Is it right? Is it fair? Is it moral? Is it the right thing to do for Kenya to continue suffering because we are a middle-income country? We cannot incentivize poverty. Poverty is not something you aspire for. Poverty is something you find yourself in by accident. And we want to ask European Union to continue having this conversation, even with our partners, and tell them really that, please, let's aspire to leave this LDC bracket and get all our economists the middle income. By the way, within the next 5 to 10 years, this government, the Kenya Kwanza government in the Republic, will be LDC because there is no space. We are creating a space within the middle income nations. They can come and occupy as Kenya moves upwards. Let us not incentivize poverty. Let us work together to uplift our people from poverty. Let us not continue saying that this country can continue frustrating efforts for, to open free trade simply because you are LDC, simply because you enjoy free market access. Poverty is not a good thing. It's something you fight yourself by accident. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that Nairobi is the center of business. We welcome you for very, very major events that are taking place in Nairobi this year. In April, the African Union, the ACFTA, trade ministers, and also our private sector in Africa, 100 top companies in Africa are converging here in Nairobi to develop the implementation matrix now that we have got a critical mass of countries that have ratified this CFTA. In July, alongside the mid-year summit of the African Union, we welcome you to the Kenya International Investment Conference right here in Nairobi. And of course, His Excellency the President is going to host, as the chair of CAHOS, the African Heads of State on Climate Change, our summit on climate change for Africa. And as I talk about this issue of climate change, as I conclude, is to say the conversations that were started in Sharm el-Sheikh in COP27 about the finance for the issue of climate transition. We are saying there is no better country to pilot this. And I have said this to Ambassador and the team, that we are saying we are ready and to champion and to take the body blows for this very difficult decision. And as a minister in charge of industry, I know I am under pressure from industry asking me, are we really able to industrialize on green? And I've been promised that in that journey we are not alone. And Ambassador has promised me that Europe will open the checkbook, as was indeed agreed in Sharm el-Sheikh, to help Kenya to transition, and so that you can be able to put climate finance to incentivize Kenya as a pilot and an early mover in these conversations. So with those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I want to welcome you again to Nairobi. Asante sana.